Hey everybody, how's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's having a great, wonderful day. Had a great, wonderful day.
It is a great day. It's a wonderful day.
How everything's going. Out here in the shop again. Great thing about, my shop's not finished yet, but it is so nice.
Got a roof.
It is so nice to be able to finally get blessed with some space to where I can actually start a project without having to do it outside or really having to, only do one project because I've got no space. So it's getting there, but it is great. So, bringing you along today with trying to finish up the horizontal Langstroth beehive that we've been working on. Today we're gonna
We're
gonna spiff it up some, Well, we're gonna put a sealer on it, or we're gonna do the mineral oil and beeswax seal.
And I know that that's not best for things that are going to be outside, but we're trying to keep it all natural.
Less chemicals that we don't really want the bees to be around some chemicals. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's fine to stain it and paint it because there's gonna be a little bit of paint on it and stuff. I don't know. It's just my feeling, and Shauna's feeling as well.
We are putting some paint on it. I've got to add some flair.
I don't know. I'm kind of wanting to go to that point where the basics, naturalish thing we can do would be great. Mm-hmm. So, and to see how well these, things work, compared to buying store-bought stuff.
It's held up on our picnic table for
it's been holding up on the picnic table
over a year.
Really well. And that was already a weather-worn picnic table. Mm-hmm. So, the beehive, of course, besides the metal and the screws and the screen and stuff, all from stuff I've milled. We got these little wonderful, I don't know, what do you call them, stencils?
Yeah.
They're made out of a little bit,
plate metal.
Little plate metal.
A good friend of mine, he has a CNC machine. I reached out to him and I was like, hey, this is what I want. And so he made me a little bit of everything I wanted, and a bee was one of them. These are for burning stencils. Or you can use them to paint or to draw also, but I wanted them to be able to burn stencils.
Yeah. So, we're doing it really easy. A lot of times, if you're doing something on a flat surface, just use like a screwdriver or something like that, hold it down. I've just got this little clamp on here, and it's holding it nice and flat.
Because it's vertical, and you don't want to hold it with your hand.
Yeah, you don't want to hold it with your hand. It gets a little warm. Which I'm nice because the whole stencil's sitting really nice and flat and flush, which means I did something right with getting the wood all prepped up for this.
This is true.
Which I'm pretty happy about.
So we need to put this on before we do the sealer, and I've practiced a little with these stencils. I'm still not really good at it, but you can do like a really dark char, which I don't think turns out as good, or you can just do it lightly, which is what I'm going to do. Then let it cool, and you have to sand it down before you start putting the sealer on, because otherwise that char leaves some ash and you're just going to smear it all around if you don't. So I will have to sand over it, but I'm thinking this is going to come out really nice.
We're hoping so.
And he did such a great job. He really did.
Not me, the friend.
Yes.
So, you want to get it burning?
I'm going to burn this, and then Jeff's going to show you how to put together one of the frames.
Yeah,
it's real easy.
They're real simple, real easy. But just in case, if you wanted to know, I'll show you what I'm doing.
Yeah, that'll take 2 seconds. Then we're going to show you how we do our water seal. I'm going to outline what we're putting on the front, and we'll explain that. And then we'll just kind of get it all done and show you the end. So let me do this first. Let's get started. So this is super simple. If you have it lying on a flat surface, take a screwdriver that doesn't have a metal top, and you can just kind of press to hold it down to make sure not too much of the flame gets under the little edges. And Jeff's right. Well, there's one spot right there I might be able to push on. Just a little propane torch. And it's real easy. And you want to do a little at a time. You don't want to do too much at once because, well, you can catch it on fire. So you have to be very careful. Kids, don't try this at home. I love that the wood grain gives the bee the stripes. Okay, so one thing you have to know is this metal is hot. So, well, of course, don't touch it with your hands. But you don't want this metal to sit here for too long because even though this is what you see, if it sits here too long, it will start turning the wood under this dark. So I'm just going to release this clamp. I'm going to let this fall to the ground. And we have a bee. So simple. So now that we've got this done, I'm going to let it cool before I sand it down. And it's just going to be a light sanding just to get the char off. But in the meantime, while that cools, I'm going to spin the camera around so Jeff can show you real quick how to put together one of these so simple frames.
Okie doke. Here we go. So I just bought a little 10-pack. And so where I got them from, that came all kind of taped together with the pieces. This kind's got the slit that runs all the way through the bottom so that you can feed, like if you use foundation on this. We're probably going to go with more like a strip of foundation along the top and let them make their own. I've got beeswax foundation that you can put a full sheet in. And you can get them where they have wire in them or they don't have wire in them for support. The kind of frame we got has the pre-drilled holes, can you see that? Yeah, in the sides so that you can run your own wire through it and do like we're going to do is put a little strip along the top and let them draw it down themselves, or you can slide a whole sheet through the bottom and it gets put into top piece that has this little slit. And on the front of the frame there's a little slit along this little one side, not on the other side but on one side, where you can pry and pop that off so that you actually staple that to the inside of that little lip to hold it there. So real simple. I just got my staple gun with some 1-inch staples. So you've got this wide part at the top and it goes skinny, so you put the wide part goes up. And these frames, they're real easy to put together because you can't put them in wrong, because that's got a real wide spot in it. That's got a skinnier spot. So see, it doesn't fit. So just make sure everything gets good, lined up and squared in that little grip. Put your staple in the bottom. So, and then I got a little spool of wire because you can run it to go back and forth across. There is, off of the horizontalbeehive.com, they show you like a jig to help put the wire on a lot better, so that it's easier to bring it through. So that way they put it like on a spool and everything. So I just unspool it and feed it through, and like I said, that jig that they show makes it look like it works a lot better. You just kind of got to like pull it and feed it all the way down, back and forth. Alright, so bring it back through my last hole. I'm just going to wrap it right around the edge of the frame there, and it's really pliable. I'm just going to curly cue it back around, and I'm just wrapping it back around itself real good and tight. I'm gonna carefully clip that little end right there, because I've got plenty there, and bend that wire down to where it gets wrapped around all that, where it's not poking up and getting in the way to where you'll poke yourself and stuff later.
Or a bee.
I don't think I have a problem with a bee getting itself poked. So I'm just going to grab my pliers here, pull that pretty snug while I pull the other side around. I'm going to bend it. What I'm doing is I'm going to pull it tight like this. Whoop. Pair of needle nose pliers, pull it tight, and then bend it up so it kind of almost locks itself in place there. Pull the other side around. And a hand, pull it back across. Do the same thing again, grab it, pull it kind of snug and tight, bend it straight up,
Make them use it.
pull it tight, pull it through there a little bit to snug it up, because it kind of cuts into the wood a little bit there, and so it kind of almost helps lock it into place. You don't want to pull it too tight because you don't want to split the wood or break your wire. Pull it up, bend it straight back up. Alright, get to this other end, pull it tight again. Pull it kind of tight again. Take it, bend it back around the frame. At that point, you kind of hold it with your finger there. And we'll bring it back around, just twisting it around that wire. That's about 5-6 times maybe, but I had to clip it off kind of close. So there we go. And then take my pliers again and make sure that gets flattened out real good. Okay.
No.
That could have been a song. I don't know. Alright, so we got that part. Then, thank you. The handy dandy little screwdriver that I gave my lovely assistant, where she went to. You can take a screwdriver and pry where that little crack is, so you don't have one on this side. You got one on this side. Then you just take your screwdriver and you can pry that, because they've scored it with like a saw or whatever. See, it just pops right out of there. You put your frame right in there, and then you can just take this piece and attach it back on there. Alright, so beeswax foundation. Just cut me a little strip about an inch or a little bit. Well, okay, came out crooked because my eyes are crooked. You could just take this, like I was saying, and not even putting the wire in there, and that's what that little slit in the bottom's for. Is you can just slide the foundation through that slit at the top and go all the way down, and then attach it to that top part up there. We're going to see if we can just make the little starter strip and let them do their own thing. Alright, a little pin nailer. I'm going to try it this way. I'm going to set a little foundation down in there. Make sure the foundation's all the way on the bottom. You can kind of use that little strip to press and hold it. Just like so. And then I'm going to shoot my little pin nail right through the top of that board, straight down. Now you could smush it up in there. See, I'm putting my little pin nails just straight through the top. I put it right back the way it was, just pushed it back. You can put it back in there like that and then staple along the top here, but I'm just going to try to poke it right on through. That way it kind of catches it at the same time and kind of really smushes it in there. And I'm just, like I said, I'm just going right through the top there. And go one more. Ta-da! And then that holds that in there.
Super easy.
Good and strong. And that is what we're going to start out with. Alright, so I think Shauna is ready to show y'all some other stuff. Let's get over to her.
So we're gonna give our hive a little bit of flair and color. Now I'm using the exact same stencils from my friend that made them out of the metal. He made me one of every letter. And
it was helpful to have every letter.
Yes, it is. So we're going to name each of our beehives that we make, and it's going to all be capital letters. Whether the word comes out straight or not, I don't care. It's just for us.
Hopefully the bees don't criticize us too much on it.
But we are naming them all instead of Hive 1, Hive 2. We've picked names for our hives from now and going forward. Okay, I have. But the first hive we are naming Beeville.
Uh-huh.
There is a town in Texas called Beeville, Texas that holds some significance to us. And we thought, what a perfect name for our first hive.
Yeah.
So we are naming our hive Beeville. I'm actually not burning these letters. I'm going to draw them on and then I'm going to paint them before we start doing the sealing. And so you're going to watch me drawing and painting these on. Also, we have some unfortunate news to bring you, and we will talk about that here in just a minute.
Yeah.
If I start way down here, it should work, right?
Yeah.
Should be able to get the whole word on here.
Maybe.
So you might not be able to see it really good, but it does say Beeville. I just used the pencil. I wasn't trying to be precise. Just enough for me to be able to paint this on here. I'm going to paint it, bring it back in just a minute. Now we can't seal that part until the paint dries, so a couple of coats of seal and that's all we have left.
Alright.
There's a hornet in here.
Sure is. Go on. Get out of here. Okay, so when we did our table, it was real, weather warm from sitting outside. And so we put on a pretty good thick layer. We did what, a 1-to-1?
A 1-to-1 ratio of beeswax and mineral oil.
So we did it super thick, but I mean
it's held up.
It's really holding up. This time we're doing
This is 2-to-1.
This is a 2-to-1. We're gonna just take a little foam brush, dip it in there, and kind of paint it a little bit, and then Sean will go back behind and rub it in good.
And I know there's some other things you can use like tongue oil and so forth, but like I said before, we're going to try this. It's worked for us in the past, and we really like it, and we like that it's natural.
So
I've already sanded over my bees, so there's not any char that's getting mixed in.
it's going on pretty good with this little foam brush.
My floor is protected too.
Right? So yeah, I think this is going to work out pretty good.
Agreed. And again, we are doing multiple coats. So we're going to finish this up, and we will be back in a bit.
Are we going to give our bad news? Because
we have bad news.
Kind of getting over it now.
He's not over it.
not really. I'm still pretty upset. Uh,
I'll put it this way. We have plenty of time to finish the frames for this
Yeah.
hive.
we did our inspection at the beginning of the week. Everything looked pretty good. We saw a few hive beetles in there. And it looked like we had a bunch of little bees hatch.
We'd already put in the strip for the varroa mites.
Yeah.
Our mentor,
Josh, they're from work, that's been helping me out, and I gotta say was really
he's wonderful.
really great on helping us out. And I'm really disappointed in myself because obviously we overlooked there was more beetles in there
than we
realized, I guess. So we did our inspection like on Sunday, and I told Josh about that we had some beetles. We had our little strip that he gave me for the mites. That seemed to be working pretty good. The next day, Monday, went to work. He had a little beetle trap with the little bait that goes in the middle. It closes up flat and lays on the bottom of the hive box.
And in this time we went online and we ordered
beetle traps. The bees will chase them into the little holes, put a little oil in the bottom of them, and they go to die in there. So next day though, Josh gave me a trap to go put in there. Opened up the hive, everything seemed fine. Took out a couple frames, put that in there. Bees were seeming pretty happy, but I noticed also a few yellow jackets were kind of around there too. So they've been kind of battling, I guess, with a hornet and some yellow jackets. Week went on, we still saw more yellow jackets kind of getting over there, and so we were trying to take care of that at the same time. And Friday, I believe
Friday.
our compost pile was close by there. It was probably about 1 o'clock even in the afternoon. So I went out there. Bees were flying around the hive and doing their thing.
It's not super close, but
Yeah,
I
not
was
super
in the
close.
area, so I
In the
went and
area,
looked
so
at the hive.
Just to see. And then we were thinking about the hive was too much in the shade. So we were going to wait until it probably got dark. We were going to try to move that hive around to put it into a sunnier location. So one mistake was probably we didn't have it in enough daylight sun.
There's sun, it just didn't get sun as long as it probably should have during the day.
And so when I went out there, I was like, wow, the bees are all in the inside like real early.
Yeah, and we got our bee suits in, so I'm all suited up. I'm ready to tackle this.
I was coming out there, and I got completely sad because I didn't hear anything. I opened up the top of the box. I saw 3 bees laying around in there. So right away, I call Josh up, and I'm like, hey, something happened. And he's like, well, do you see dead bees laying around? I was like, no, I don't see a lot of dead bees anywhere. And he got me to kind of look at the comb that was on there because, like all the cells are kind of open and everything, so there was no brood and everything because, like I said, we had that big hatch out, I guess. And he was like, well, see if it's a little slimy and stuff. And I was like, yeah, it is a little slimy. And I looked at the bottom of the box, and yeah, there's little bitty beetle larvae everywhere.
Beetles and hive beetle larvae.
And so,
just completely.
With everything I think happening to the bees, he said, well, they said adios and took off. So
we're not going to look for them. We're going to let them go do their thing.
I went and looked around in the trees, see if I could see them.
But we're not going to
I didn't see
actively search out for them because I think they're going to be better off right now.
Obviously. I'm still really down about it because I feel like I failed really, really bad.
I don't think you failed. I think there's a reason everything happens.
And Josh, he was real good about it. He went over everything with me to find out the problem and talked me through it real well. And he was like, look, how about we, in the spring, we'll reset something back up when everything's back in bloom. So, I got plenty of time, but I'm still focusing on getting this done because I didn't want it sitting around undone and feeling even worse as I was. I know it's not a big thing. It happens, you know.
When bees have gone like that, it is heartbreaking to the keepers or keeper, and so yes, it's sad, and we were really down about it the first day because we felt like we failed, but then I'm a little more optimistic than Jeff is. To me, it's a learning opportunity.
And that's what Josh told me too. He's like, well, this is now your learning opportunity on this, and he's like, this way it also gives you a little more time to do some more research and things like that. Work with him some more. And because he was even thinking that maybe my hive wasn't strong enough too. He was actually about to give me a frame of brood so I could put it in the hive.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I was kind of checking on also that Friday night after work. I mean, it was 8 o'clock-ish.
Yeah.
You know, the sun was kind of going downish. I guess a little after 8, but... And, yeah, it was kind of heartburning to see all that. So, you know, I know things happen. Everything happens for a reason.
And I feel better about it knowing that they weren't all killed.
Yeah.
They've gone somewhere, and they will probably thrive because they just had a huge hatch, and so there's a lot of them. I'm sure they're fine.
They're going to be fine. So
for new beekeepers out there, just know that if you do have a hive and the whole hive just absconds, it's okay. It happens, and unfortunately, it's just it's a learning opportunity.
Yeah.
But don't get yourself down about it. Just gather more research and your thoughts, and just get right back into it.
That's what I'm having to do. So this has been helping me out a little bit, just to see that this is coming out a lot better actually than I thought it was going to come out.
I think it's great.
And like I said, being able to use everything that all the wood that I've milled out here. So this is keeping me up a little bit, knowing that when they come in again, hopefully we've got an even better setup. We'll be more knowledgeable on everything, and it'll be great. So thanks for coming along again today. We really do appreciate it.
We love how this turned out. We hope that you like how it turned out. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, advice, please
Tips,
leave those in the comments below.
All down there.
If y'all like to be, I am in love
Yeah,
with this. And I've got one for every animal on the farm, and every animal we will be getting.
Yeah.
Except for one. No, 2. I don't have a duck or a quail. But
oops.
so I'm thinking on the outbuildings, I'm gonna burn the picture of the animal on each outbuilding.
Think about
What do y'all think about that? I love that idea.
Seems neat.
Hopefully y'all enjoyed this. It's a labor of love. It really
Right.
is.
Y'all have a great, wonderful one. Y'all be careful out there. Can't wait to see y'all till next time. Later.
I love this.